welcome.
Hey, hey.
Oh,
Mhm.
Happy Valentine's Week.
For just a minute.
If you can't tell.
Happy Heart Month.
yeah, it's a double header for me. My wife's birthday was
This is just a
Happy
reminder
Heart
for
Month.
all
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put myself on mute for now.
Happy birthday. Somebody said their wife's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday.
Birthday to her.
It
Yep,
was Lisa's
yep.
birthday yesterday too. Wow.
Yes,
Birthday.
yes.
Finally,
My
27.
My birthday's the next week. It's all about the
Oh my
birthday.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of birthdays in February and March.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll continue to let people in. I just want to make sure we don't run out of time. So today, do we need to introduce, guys? We did this last time. I think we should introduce like every other time. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Yeah, I think they all know us.
You all know who we are. And if not, we'll do it next time. Okay. Go ahead, Valerie. You can tell us all the rules.
Okay. I'm a rule follower. So here's the housekeeping. Line's muted unless you're speaking. So if you're coming in, please mute yourself if you're not already muted. Share stories, experiences, and tips. We want to hear from you. So you can either chat with us or you can unmute your line and just say, hey. And we want to hear about your experiences. Ask questions, make recommendations, and tell us what you want to know. We're always interested in learning more about what you guys want to hear, and we can address it. I think that's it.
All right. So today, for our Go Care Pro Mastermind, we're going to talk about strategies for recruiting exceptional caregivers in a competitive market. I met with somebody earlier today who was really struggling with this. I know it's hard. Like you work to grow the business, and then the business starts growing, and then you need caregivers to keep growing. And so that's why we're going to talk about this. It's also timely based on what's coming. So we'll get into that now. So today we want to be the agency caregivers choose. So we're going to talk about how to attract, interview, and hire the right people. We're going to overcome the hiring slumps, how to sell your company to caregiver applicants, effective caregiver ads, and interview techniques. So what I have seen in the 20 years I've been in home care is that come February, March, and some of April, caregivers don't want to work. And that's your current caregivers. And the applicants also slow down. And it happened year after year after year. And I started thinking, what the heck is going on? It's because they get their tax refund. And I know that sounds crazy to those of you who haven't experienced this, but if you talk to anybody who's been in home care for a long time and you ask them, like I asked Annette and Lisa when they started working here, why don't caregivers work in the spring? And why do the applicants go down right away? Tax refund. So they get their tax refund in the early spring, and it provides them a temporary financial cushion. And their children are on spring break. So that combination, they kind of pull back from work for a while and then they come back. And so today, the reason we're bringing this up in February is so you can start hiring some caregivers now. And when this happens, you will have extra caregivers on hand for taking the current, to take on new clients. I'm in Arizona, so March and April are especially busy for us because snowbirds are here. And so this was like a double whammy because we have more clients, caregivers that we have don't want to work. There's nobody applying. It was a lot. So they have a financial breathing room right now because tax refunds average between $2,000 and $3,000. The family's a priority because it's spring break and there's a seasonal dip. So those combined factors can make March and April very, very difficult. So the first strategy I always turn to when it's slow ever for hiring, anytime I have problems, but knowing that this is coming, the strategy I take is a job fair strategy. It's not about getting people to come to the job fair. It's about creating a sense of urgency and momentum. It's a proven strategy that compresses your hiring timeline and generates multiple candidates quickly. So we're going to get into this job fair. You're going to schedule it for 2 consecutive days, maybe 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You'll promote it via text, social media, job boards, offer to do interviews on site, and emphasize flexible schedules and all the benefits that you provide. So we have a job fair handout that you can, hand out, put it on job boards, send it out to everybody, anybody and everybody you know. You have a Google and Canva link to use that. On the left-hand side is the ad that you could put in Indeed. So the idea of this for me in the beginning was I need candidates to come in. I need to interview candidates. I need to get people in here working. I did the job fair and only like 3 people show up. I was very disappointed, but I noticed when I had this caregiver ad in Indeed and we've been handing this out, the flyer and putting it on job boards. What I noticed was because it said we will be doing interviews at the job fair, when the caregivers called or texted or reached out, however they reached out and we talked to them, they were asking, well, can I interview now? Is there any way I can do it now? Do I have to wait to the job fair? They were worried that they would get overlooked or they would get missed, or maybe they couldn't make the job fair. So it created a sense of urgency. People wanted to talk to us. People wanted to get in before the job fair happened. And so while only 2 to 3 actually came to the job fair, we'd have 15, 20 want to interview. And we would say, let's interview now, because we did phone interviews. So let's interview now the phone and we'll get you in the system. So this is what the ad could look like on Indeed. I always put these asterisks to make it stand out. You can't do graphics or photography or anything like that. So, or photos. So I would always put like this kind of graphic thing up there. So you have a Google link to what you're going to put on Indeed. You have the Google and Canva link for the flyer. But the idea again is to just get that urgency out there. And that's what's going to bring you candidates. If you have a way for them to text you, that's even better. We have a recruiting program here where they get a text when they apply, and then they can self-schedule themselves for an interview. And so we didn't even really have to talk to them. They texted the number. The system automatically sent them the scheduling link. They scheduled themselves for the interview. It was fabulous. So I wanted to show you this because this is anytime you have a hiring slump. Like we got slow sometimes in the summer. Let's do the job fair. It worked every single time. It always got me some candidates. It got things moving. Also think about the benefits that you offer. I know it's very difficult in home care to have a lot of benefits. You know, it's just, you know, there aren't a lot of caregivers and it's expensive for health insurance, all the reasons. So look at the benefits on this flyer. Work close to home. That's a benefit. We had an app where they had access to their earned pay anytime. If you have that, you can put that on here. Direct deposit is a benefit. Maybe you pay time and a half during the holidays. That's a benefit. They get 24/7 live support. You offer a flexible schedule. Maybe they get referral bonuses. There's some other kind of bonus. Opportunity for growth. Maybe you have paid training, paid sick time. So all of those are benefits. We have to get creative sometimes when we think about the benefits, but you want this job fair flyer to be full of benefits. So that's the first thing that I do when there's a hiring slump or I want to pad and have more caregivers available because I know it's about to get slow. I also wanted to talk to you about a recruiting process that has worked for me for years and years. And it came to be because of COVID, because we couldn't do interviews in person. But then COVID ended. And what I found, we tried to go back to what we were doing previously. If you make candidates come to your office more than one time and your competitors don't, they're going to go to the place who doesn't make them jump through hoops as much. And so this worked for us. I have a 6-step process here. So ad placement on Facebook or other job sites. The applicants apply from Indeed or wherever. The applicant completes a short form. So the way that we did this, we have a recruiting program here. I was a customer before I worked here, so I was very involved in this. The system sent out a short form to the applicants. And the short form had maybe 5 questions: name, address, zip code, you know, what kind of shifts are you looking for? And then like a deal breaker question. If they passed those initial questions, then the system would send them a text with a link where they could schedule their own interview. This is a fabulous thing to have happen because caregivers, they change their mind a lot, right? They're kind of all over the place. They're wonderful, fabulous. We need them, but they do. If I'm a caregiver and I'm looking for a job and it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to look for the job now and I want to work right now. Tomorrow, something may change and I may not want to, but right now I want to work. And so if you can have a system set up where they can schedule themselves for an interview, even if it's at midnight, then they're done looking at other companies. Once they have that interview scheduled, they're not going to call other companies, look at other companies. They've got an interview scheduled with you. So the idea is to get them scheduled for an interview as soon as possible. And if you need to manually text them, whatever, they do prefer texting. I can tell you that if you're able to text them, you're going to have much better results. So so then you do a phone interview. I don't make them fill out an application prior to the phone interview. I don't make them do a lot of work. The only thing they did was fill out that really short form that was online. That's all I made them do. Any answers that I need from them that are on the application, I'm going to ask them during the phone interview. So there are things I might want to know. And remember, we did already ask them the deal breaker question. Have you had a felony? That's a deal breaker. When they answer that and it's, yes, I've had one, I never even see that candidate. They disappear in our recruiting program. During the phone interview, though, I'm going to ask them the questions that I need to know that might be on the application. The idea here is they don't want to fill out an application on Indeed and then fill out another application and jump through all of these hoops just to have a phone interview. And if your competitors are not making them jump through hoops, but you are, that's where those caregivers are going. That's why a lot of times I have clients call us here and say, you know, the applicants for my caregivers are just really low quality lately. They're very low quality. What do you think could be going on? What I think's going on is you're making them jump through too many hoops, or you're not getting them to work fast enough. The really good caregivers get picked up quickly. And so you have to make this process fast. It does not mean we're not vetting them. It does not mean we're not checking their references. It doesn't mean we're taking any shortcuts. It means we're moving quickly. Text messaging helps you move quickly because many times they don't answer their phone because they're with a client or doing something. Their voicemail's full. I mean, you raise your hand if you've had that happen. Their voicemail is almost always full. Texting is the way to do this. So you conduct the phone interview over the phone. It might be a 45-minute interview because you're going to ask them a lot of questions. If you decide this is somebody you want to have come into the office for training, orientation, then you invite them after this phone interview. I'm very clear with them. You are not hired until orientation is over, until you've completed orientation. So we schedule them for orientation. In our recruiting system, when they have an interview with us, when they're scheduled for orientation or training, they're getting text reminders 24 hours before, an hour before, and 15 minutes before. This helps them show up for the phone interview and orientation. And in the orientation text, our address is in that text so they can click on it and drive right to the office. So while they're in orientation, they're a captive audience. They're coming to my office. They're only going to be here one time. Now I'm going to have them fill out the application. I'm also going to drug test them because we always did a drug test. We have a saliva drug test. It's fabulous, 5 minutes. I'm going to put that in their mouth while they're filling out their application, and I'm going to train them. And if you have TB testing or whatever, they should bring that in. I'm also not going to run the background check until they are physically in my office. I don't want to spend money on a background check for someone who may or may not show up. So I'm going to wait till they come to the office. Most background checks, unless they've lived in 1 million counties, can come back within a few hours. And so at our office, they were at our office for about 4 hours because we did hands-on skills training. We did a lot of training with them. And so they're at orientation. They're filling out the application. They're taking the drug test. Anything I need, I'm getting their references from them. And now they're going to go to orientation. I know their availability. I have their references to check. I have their background check to run right now. And so I'm going to do all of that while they're in orientation. I'm also going to give their availability to whoever is scheduling so that they can start looking for clients for them while they're in training. So the important piece of this is they should not leave your building without a client. So the background check comes back good, great. They pass all the skills testing, great. My scheduler has been looking for clients for them. I know most of the caregivers want 40 hours a week. That's very difficult to do while they're in training to find that. So what we used to tell them is, these are the clients I have right now. They might be fill-in shifts. It might be 12 hours a week and they want 40. But we would tell them, we will have all of your hours filled within 2 weeks. When they leave recruiting or orientation without a client, they feel defeated. They've put all this time and energy into your company. They spent the day with you and they left with nothing and they feel defeated. And many of them will ghost you when they leave. You find a client for them like a week later, they don't answer your calls. They're upset. So you have to give them work before they leave your building. Even if it's just a few hours a week, maybe it's just fill-ins, explain to them within 2 weeks, I will have all of your hours filled. And maybe it's not 2 weeks for you. Maybe it's something else. But this is the recruiting process that has worked for me for years. Many of our clients are using this process as well. Are there any questions, guys? I'm not really watching. No? You guys can put some questions if you have any in the chat. No? Okay. All right. We'll keep going. The 5-step selling process. Now, trying to get clients is very competitive. It's also very competitive to get caregivers. And maybe you guys aren't in that place yet, but when you're in that place and you have to create a wait list, it's painful, especially for marketing. They've been out there selling. They're finally getting referrals, and now we have no caregivers. It's very, very painful. So you have to put on your sales hat. Everybody in your company is a salesperson. They're all in sales. Whether they want to be, they don't want to be, they're in sales. So this is a 5-step selling process. Recruiting is sales. You must persuade caregivers to choose your agency over your competitors. So the approach, the first impression you have with them should convey caring, community, and value. We're thrilled you're thinking about working for us. That was in the text message that went out. We had that kind of statement go out. Discover their needs. Ask about the hours needed, the preferred days and times, and schedule requirements during the interview. That's part of the interview questions. Provide a solution. Meet their needs when possible. I secured 30 hours now and work on 10 more. You may not be able to do that during the interview, but what you can say is while you're in orientation, I'm going to give your availability to my scheduling team, and they will assign a client to you before you leave orientation or training. Close the sell. Invite them to orientation training immediately. Create a sense of urgency. Next steps. When you're scheduling them for orientation, it should be for tomorrow or the next day. You should not schedule them way out. Same thing on the interview. If you decide to do a screening yourself over the phone instead of sending a text message, you need to schedule them for tomorrow. It's always tomorrow or the next day. If you schedule them a week out, or if your system allows them to schedule a week out, odds are they're not going to show up. So schedule them for tomorrow. Same thing if you're in sales and you're doing marketing. You're scheduling that assessment for this afternoon or tomorrow. You don't wait. Lots of things can happen by then. And then follow up, weekly communication for the first 90 days. That's about retention. And we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end. Are there questions now? I think I see something in the chat. No?
No, that was just us telling everyone to not be shy and go ahead and ask your questions here.
I want to make sure I'm answering. Okay. Interview question types. There are 3 types of interview questions: open-ended questions, behavioral questions, and situational questions. The open-ended questions are going to reveal attitudes and opinions. It lets the candidates paint a descriptive picture of who they are. And an example is, why do you want to be a caregiver? Tell me about a time you changed a negative situation into positive. These are open-ended questions, and you're just going to listen to what they say. Behavioral questions predict future behavior based on past performance. If you understand how they handle challenges, how did you handle a client who refused services? What do you do to calm yourself when feeling stressed? Situational questions is testing their problem-solving ability and their moral compass with real-world scenarios. Your client forgets who you are and is terrified. What do? You notice another caregiver taking items. How do you handle it? If you make a mistake and no one noticed, what do? So these are the types of questions that you want to make sure you're asking, along with, when can you work? What's your experience? There's lots of different questions, but these 3 types are really good questions to get to the who they are and how they're going to move through your company. How are they going to handle the caregivers? I always start my interviews off with connection. Caregivers are looking for community and a connection. And they probably, of everybody that works at your company, they are the ones who need connection and community the most. And what do? We send them out to a client's house out on an island all by themselves. And that's just the nature. There's nothing we can do about that. That's how this works. But you need to start and connect with them emotionally. Why do you want to be a caregiver? What about caregiving interests you? What skill set are you most proud of? Give examples. And when they answer that, connect with them emotionally. That's really special, the relationship you have with your grandma. That's going to make it's going to make you such a great caregiver. Something like that. So you're connecting with them emotionally. You need, during this interview, they need to want to work there because of how they were treated by you, and that you ask the right questions, and that you really care about them, and you're painting a sense of community with all of your caregivers. That's what attracts them. Their availability and logistics. What schedule are you looking for? Days, timeframes. Do you work anywhere else? A lot of them have to divide their time between agencies because a lot of agencies don't have enough hours for them. I used to think, I don't want to hire someone that's doing that, but a lot of them are doing that because they need to make ends meet. If they are splitting their time between you and a competitor, and you're giving them more hours and you treat them better, eventually they'll probably come all the way over to your agency and drop the other one. Compatibility. What are deal breakers? What might you not take? What are deal breakers that might make you not take on a client? And that's a good thing to hear, because some of them won't take on a client that just kind of looks at them with a mean look. You know, that's not going to work probably. You're going to have to make sure you assign them to really nice clients, right? Some of them can't handle that at all. So it's a good thing to know. What makes a job fulfilling for you? What are your greatest professional flaws, and how are you improving them? Then we're going to talk about flexibility and growth. How do you adapt to working with different clients? Would you want to remain with a client even if the care level changes? This is a really good question, because a lot of brand new caregivers to this industry, which we need a lot of new people coming in, they don't want to do hands-on. They have no desire to do hands-on. But if you work with them as their clients' needs progress, and you're working with them with the bathing and the hands-on and the transfers and all of those things, that might turn them into a really good caregiver. We don't want to scare them from the profession, because we need a lot more caregivers in this world. There aren't enough. So asking them that question is a really great question, because if they fall in love with that client and now that client needs a transfer or a shower, but they didn't want to be hands-on, they're willing to make that exception if they like the company and they like the client. Communication preferences. We have open communication policy. How do you prefer we address constructive feedback with you? How do you prefer we communicate with you? And then always end on a positive note. Always ask, what can we do to show you we value you? How do you like to be recognized for going above and beyond? This question, nobody's doing this at the end of an interview. This is a great way to end the interview. It leaves them with a good taste in their mouth about your company. And I can tell you, after doing thousands of interviews at my last company, this thing, what can we do? Do you know what the answer is? Communicate with me. That's it. That's all they want. Often, answer my phone calls. When I tell you that there were 13 cats at this house, come do something about it. Take care of me, the caregiver. It's all of them were communication. I had a little Excel spreadsheet. I would sort it. Every answer was communicate with me. So that's going to be really important, but this is a great way to end the interview. And of course, you're scheduling them for orientation if you like them as well. All right. Writing caregiver ads that convert. When you're selling something, it's really common to get stuck on the features of whatever that thing is. Let's say you're selling a sprinkler, and the sprinkler shoots 6 feet around in a circle. It does 6 feet all the time. 6 feet. That's the feature. People won't buy a sprinkler because it shoots out 6 feet all the way around. They buy the benefit of that. What do they get because the sprinkler shoots 6 feet around? Well, it covers more area. It's probably going to save me time because I don't have to go move the sprinkler constantly. It might save me some money because I'm not having to run it longer in all these different areas. So you need to move the caregiver and clients, if you're in marketing, from feature to benefit. They don't do that themselves. You have to do that. Weekly pay is a feature if that's something that you do. The benefit of weekly pay is get paid more often, steady income you can count on. So you need to do this in your ads. You need to do this when you're talking to them. Bonuses, that's a feature. The benefit is earn extra money on top of your hourly pay for great performance, referrals, or special shifts. That's a benefit. Free training. Build your skills and confidence with professional training at no cost to you. Flexible schedule. Choose shifts that fit your life, family, and personal commitment. Immediate work available. Start working right away. No long waiting period to get hours. So lead with benefits. And I have found through the years, pulling at the heartstrings of the caregivers really helps in that ad. I know we want to hit them with you need to have a car, you need to have a TV, you better be CPR first aid certified. All of that can be in the ad, but it should be the top. The top should be benefit, benefit, benefit. We have a community here. We're going to communicate with you. We're going to reward you and recognize you for good things that you do. You're going to get work right away. You know, all the benefits. Then comes the CPR, first aid, all the rules and all of those things. Don't lead with that. Really, the caregiver ad is all about the headline. If you are running ads on Indeed or anywhere, it's really important that you change out your ads every single week. It moves you back to the top. A stale ad that has been running week after week, you just keep getting pushed down, pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. You need to refresh your ads weekly. It doesn't mean the whole ad has to refresh. I would just take the ad and change the headline out. The headline. That's all you really have to change. And then you become a new ad and you're back at top again. This is the format of the headline. Caregiver, no S. If you have an S there alphabetically, you're going to be at the bottom. So caregiver, space, always make sure there's a space. If the dash is touching the R, that's also going to move you in the alphabet wise. Caregiver space, dash space. And then a statement that's going to pull at their heartstrings. A senior near you needs your help. If you want to attract the right kinds of caregivers, they have to be doing this because they care about seniors and they care about their life and they want to make the senior's life better. So I put a couple headlines in here. Caregiver, a career for the kind-hearted, or you can help a senior stay at home, or have a heart for seniors, or make a difference in a senior's life. Be the sunshine in a senior's day. This is going to pull at the heartstrings. And then at the end of your headline, space dash space, pay range, a range, not just one hourly figure. Put a range in there so they see that there's a range. Because if your competitor, if you're putting, most of your caregivers make 15 and you just put 15, and someone else puts a range 15 to 17, they're going to go with the 15 to 17 in hopes that they're going to make more than 15. So come up with a pay range that works for you. And you need to be able to explain why some of your caregivers are getting 15 and some are getting 17. The pay range really helps. So having the pay range in the headline helps because they are scrolling through headlines. That's what they do. They scroll through the headlines. When they see your pay range there, they don't have to click on the ad. They see the headline. Many of them don't read the ad. They just see the headline. It makes sense. The pay is good. I'm going to apply. It's that simple for many of them. When you have a goal of how many caregivers, or you know how many caregivers a week you need to hire, you have to start with thinking of the end in mind. This formula has been the same for 20 years. If I need to hire 5 caregivers, that means I need 10 caregivers in training or orientation. I need 20 interviews scheduled and I need 40 applicants. This is how it has worked from the very, I've been in this for a long time. It cuts in half. Each stage cuts in half. If you need 10 hires, then it's going to be 10, 20, 40, 60 or 80. So that's how it works. So it's a great way. If I know I need 5 hires, I'm going to need 40 applicants. And so you've got to run the ads to get 40 applicants in the door. So now the last slide, we're just going to talk quickly about retention. This one really wasn't about retention, but I thought we would talk about it. If you can retain the caregivers that you have, how easy is recruiting going to become? It's going to be so much easier, so much better. So for retention, when you hire caregivers, if you can get them over the 90-day hump, their first 90 days, they will stay as long as the caregiver is going to stay. You've got to get them over that 90-day hump. It's critical. How do you do that? They need to hear from you weekly and asking them if they got their TB done or if they can work this Saturday. That doesn't count. That's not about them. This communication is about them. How are you doing? How can I make your job better? How was your first shift? How were your clients? Are you happy? Those are the types of things they need to hear. We do have a retention program here with automated texts. The texts go out to them every single week and they're really heartfelt texts. And so whether it's a text, a phone call, however you do it, they need to hear from you every single week, their first 90 days. And then after that, they need to hear from you every month, birthdays and anniversaries. So these need to be meaningful recognition. Maybe you do a shout out because the client called and said how fabulous they are. or they've been on time, or they haven't missed a day of work in a month, or they weren't late in a month, or whatever the case may be. Shout outs are fabulous. Having a caregiver newsletter is a great way to do this too, and sending it out to all the caregivers, talking about the caregivers' birthdays, their anniversaries, and having like a shout out corner that's shouting out to the caregivers that are doing a great job. They're all going to want to be in that corner. So you need to create a sense of belonging too, build that community, have those caregiver parties, recognize them in the newsletter. Maybe you have some mentor caregivers that kind of take people under their wing and they're there for them their first 90 days. Whatever it is, they need to feel that sense of community and that sense of belonging, and they need to feel important. They are important. I mean, you can't have an agency without caregivers, right? There's nothing, it's gone. The business is gone. Lisa, did you have something to add?
I was just going to add to remind everyone, and I know this is coming up in the leave behind section, but February 20th is Thank a Caregiver Day. So you can start there with your shout outs, and start thanking them, all of them now. But yeah, this is a great way to keep in touch with them. I used to try to do this myself, like texting them and trying to remember, okay, I got to text this birthday and text this birthday. So having a program that's more automated is a godsend for sure.
Yes, it definitely makes a huge difference, because if you forgot or you got tied up doing something, the system still sends that text out. It goes no matter what happens, right? They get the text. Remember to ask the candidates during interviews how they prefer to be recognized. It might give you some great ideas. We got great ideas when we ask the caregivers those questions. Like, we never thought to do that. That's a great idea. So, get their feedback too. I mean, they're a caregiver. They're going to help you with all the caregivers, and listen to them, right? Always take action too. If they call and say, this client's daughter, she's just awful, listen to them and try to fix it for them. Make sure they get heard. They need to feel heard. That's really, really important. I hear you. We're looking into it. We'll let you know what happens. We'll send somebody from the office. Whatever the case may be, they need to feel heard. All right. That is everything. Lisa, you have a lot of time, unless there are questions.
Wow.
Still don't see it.
Never have a lot of time.
Right. You guys, if you have any
All right.
questions, feel free to, put them in the chat. I hope that this helps you. It was a godsend for us, this whole recruiting, but we're doing it this way really made a big difference.
Definitely.
Oh, Lee,
Yeah,
actually,
jump
Jeff's up first. Go ahead. And
Oh yeah.
Okay. Our Go Care Pro sales training. How is this month going so quick? But
I
next week
know.
is our last February class, February 18th. I still have a couple spots. There's still time to join us if you'd like to. And I have people signing up for our March classes, but we still do have openings. So it is a 12-week program, once a week via Zoom. Lisa was just on a 12-week class with me today. It was the last class of the 12 weeks. And everybody did so good. We have people getting referrals, setting up lunch and learns. It's really fun to see how people grow from week 1 to week 12. You could be very experienced, not experienced at all. You're learning lots of golden nuggets. It's a great class, so we'd love to have you. Let us know if you're interested.
Annette, how many lunch and learns did someone in the class just now said they got how many people registered for the lunch and learn? It was a huge number.
So somebody that she had a networking event at their office for referral sources, and she had a whiteboard in the room that they were having the event, and asked anybody if they're interested in a lunch and learn to jot your name on the whiteboard. And I think, what did she say she got? I don't know, 8 or 9.
I think it was more than, I think she's here 12. She got 12.
Well, okay.
That's
oh my
great.
God.
That was so good.
I
Just
thought, what a
from one
creative way
networking event.
to get lunch and
That's
learns.
not common.
it's fabulous. Way to
Yeah,
go.
that's not
Creative
common to
idea.
have any of the networking, right?
Those lunches
I think it was
really bring in referrals. They really,
Yeah.
really do.
Good job, Carrie.
yeah, that was scary. That was amazing. Yeah, awesome.
And to add to the sales training, Annette does a really good job. She, I think the reason it's working so well, we've had over 100 people take this class now. They get referrals by week 6. And I think a reason it works so well is it's separated by referral type. So you're learning everything you need to know about skilled nursing facility, the people in the building, When you're in a skilled nursing facility talking to a social worker and you're talking about those clients that you take care of in their home, you can't call them clients. You have to call them patients. Clients is a dirty word for a social worker. So it's so much detail in how to talk to the different referral types because they're all different. And so once that's kind of handled, then Annette says, okay, go do it. Go do it. 5, 6 social workers for skilled nursing facilities next week. Go do it. I've given you what to say. Take this with you. These are the words you use. Bring this with you. Go do it. And then everybody comes back and talks about their experience. And then once that's settled, she does the same for assisted living, independent living. Help me. It's independent memory care, home health, all
CRC, yeah.
Asking for the business.
Just using the lingo that people use in this industry, calling their building a SNF instead of skilled nursing facility tells them that you know what you're doing. Like just that alone. So you learn all of those things. It is a great class. We've had a lot of people do really well and come out of there just knowing exactly what they're supposed to do now. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
We will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody. Rest of your day.
Take care.